Asura tricked two malicious leaders a peek. He was then approached by the leaders. The third sister supports him. Seeing the sword wiped by Asura, Jean Lyra couldn't help but ask worriedly, "Have you tricked Dan Skycloud twice, and he still managed to come back unharmed?" Asura did not stop his actions. Dan Skycloud must be furious by now. Jean Lyra is worried about Asura's safety. The third sister is on the side to reassure both of them. With her presence, not even the Heavenly King can harm her brother. Asura felt a little embarrassed upon hearing this. "Older sister, please don't act later." The third sister was puzzled. "Why not? If those guys want to hurt you, why can't I help?" Asura, however, expressed his concern. "My dear sister, if you step in, they will simply disappear without a trace." "What's the point then? I'm afraid they won't even show up." Suddenly, a scolding voice could be heard by the three of them. Asura smiled, finally arrived. Only Leader Dan and his elder disciple were dirty and shouting outside the door. Asura led the third sister and Jean Lyra out of the door in large strides. After seeing Leader Dan, Asura raised an eyebrow and asked, "Have you committed hemorrhoids?" After this remark, Leader Dan instantly remembered the previous episode. He was stabbed in the back door by Asura. But he is even more certain that the murderer is Asura. But everything must be based on evidence. After several rounds of debate, Leader Dan was about to take action directly. Unexpectedly, his aura suddenly exploded. A phoenix suddenly flew out from above the heads of everyone. Asura quietly asked the elder sister next to him what she was doing. The third sister, however, calmly replied that she was just walking the birds. "This doesn't violate your request, does it?" Seeing this 9-tier fiendish beast Leader Dan, he quickly lowered his posture and respectfully asked, "May I know how to address this young lady? What brings you to my Tai sect?" "Feral Beast Palace's Seraphina Asura is my younger brother. Do you have any objections to me visiting?" The title of Feral Beast Empress was revealed. Leader Dan was instantly frightened and broke out in a cold sweat. On a large tree in the courtyard, a man quietly watches the scene. This person is Asura's master, Emperor Luo. He didn't expect that Asura had such strong backing, but it seems like Song Rain might step in. Song Rain is facing the third sister's provocation. Leader Dan quickly spoke up. "It's all a misunderstanding. We came here specifically to visit. How is Asura's brother doing?" Just then, the voice of Song Rain suddenly sounded. "This is an internal matter of Tai's sect. Outsiders naturally cannot interfere. Palace Lord Seraphina has arrived, and I naturally welcome her. But it seems that the matter of disciplining our sect's disciples is not related to you, right? Two women are facing each other in a hostile manner, like enemies meeting. But the third sister is not someone easy to deal with. I want to see who dares to lay a finger on my brother today." Feral Beast Empress is indeed the third sister of Asura. She witnessed Leader Song reprimanding Asura. "I'll let the third sister step in again. I want to see who dares to mess with my brother today." At this moment, Asura suddenly stepped forward and stood in front of the third sister to assure her, "She can't harm me." Faced with the repeated obstruction of this younger brother, the third sister frowned. "Who cares about you? Good intentions are disregarded as horse liver and lungs." The third sister pouted and stood aside. Just at that moment, Leader Song gathered the palm wind and instantly rushed in front of Asura. Seeing such momentum, Jean Lyra exclaimed behind, "Master, you will kill him!" Asura, however, remained calm and closed his eyes, ignoring Jean Lyra's concern. Just at that moment, a figure instantly rushed to Leader Song's front. Before she could react, a kick landed on her arm. Two attacks collided. The field was instantly polarized. Seeing this man looking for trouble, a group of disciples exclaimed in succession, "Is this the expert at the inner leader of peak level? He used to be the most hopeful candidate to become the next sect leader." The white-haired man's aura dispersed, and his voice resounded across the field. A dignified inner leader of Peak actually used all his strength to teach an interned disciple. If this got out, Tai Sek's reputation will be ruined by you. As his words fell, he even didn't forget to throw a flirtatious glance at Asura. Back then, Asura lost all his power. Many people insisted on driving him out of the Tai sect. Only Emperor Luo made every effort to protect him. He even offended the sect leader, and was stripped of the title of leader of Peak. He was punished to reflect in confinement at the Myriad Treasures Pavilion. Leader Song shouted angrily. She also believes that Luo Madman left the Myriad Treasures Pavilion confinement without authorization. Emperor Luo made a face and explained that the sect leader released me from confinement early. You think it's annoying, isn't it? In the end, Asura is still my disciple, old Luo. If you want to teach him a lesson, you have to pass my test first. Seeing the affectionate appearance of the two, Leader Song gritted his teeth in anger. However, he was helpless as he couldn't defeat Luo Madman in a one-on-one fight. Later, she turned around to go and reason with sect leader. Seeing the troublemakers leave, Emperor Luo angrily shouted, "You brat! Aren't you afraid for your life? He's about to kill you. Why don't you hide?" Asura, however, had already smelled his scent and knew that your master would definitely intervene. Qin Lyra also bid farewell to Asura, saying he was going back to find the master, or he would be upset later. Asura nodded, and then told Lyra that if she asked any questions, he could say he didn't know. The two watched as Qin Lyra left. Emperor Luo teased from the side. "It's been 10 years. You still haven't won over your little junior sister, huh?" Asura also didn't back down and retorted, "It's been 10 years. Your mouth is still so sharp." Asura brought Emperor Luo and the third sister back to their residence. He began to talk about the matter of stealing Dan Skycloth's treasures. Emperor Luo was also puzzled. Why did Song Rain stand up for Dan Skycloud? Soon they discussed and figured out that there must be some secret among the three of them. Emperor Luo looked somewhat disdainfully at the weapons on the table. Other than selling them for some money, there wasn't much else they could be used for. But among these, only one is a treasure. He then glanced at the sword that Asura had handed over. The third sister and Master Luo both praised at the same time. This sword is definitely extraordinary. If you can refine this sword, it will definitely be of great help to you. Asura obtained the treasure sword. He was informed by Luo Shifu that this sword contains love poison. This sword needs Asura and Beloved One to refine together. Qin Lyra was almost killed while trying to deliver intelligence to Asura. Just as the third sister and Emperor Luo praised this sword, Emperor Luo began to explain the reason why sect leader released it early this time. For the past 10 years, sect leader has never forgotten about Asura, who has been waiting to soar. Now, Tai sect is facing internal and external troubles, with major sects eyeing them with jealousy. Song Rain and others colluded with other sects. A quarter of an hour later in the martial arts arena, only Leader Song and Leader Dan were seen enjoying a cup of tea. Just at that moment, an attack instantly split the tea table in half. Just then, two other inner leaders of Peak also arrived at the scene. After the few of them met, they then began discussing how to subvert the Tai sect in response to the woman's inquiry. Leader Song directly spoke up. "It's better to strike first to be strong. Let's take out Emperor Luo and his damned disciple first." Qin Lyra just arrived here and heard that Shifu is going to take action against Asura's senior brother. She quickly turned around and left. She must tell senior brother Yi about this matter. Asura's residence. He only listens to the third sister and Emperor Luo attempting to help Asura refine the sword. But he feels there has always been a barrier blocking his way. Upon hearing this, Emperor Luo confirmed his thoughts. He then revealed the origin of this sword. After the establishment of the Tai sect by the founding Grandmaster, the Grand Matriarch was soon ambushed by enemies and poisoned. The Grandmaster hid in a secret room for 7 days and nights, trying to detoxify the Grand Matriarch. Unexpectedly, the poison turned out to be the most potent love poison in the world. Even the mighty Grandmaster struggled to handle it. In the end, the Grand Matriarch had to seal a part of the love poison into a sacred weapon, locking it away forever. After the story was finished, Asura broke out in a cold sweat. He suspected that the master was telling some spicy anecdotes about the Grandmaster. The third sister, however, showed a hint of interest. If this love poison were to be used on someone you like, wouldn't that be wonderful? Seeing the third sister's face, Luo Shifu smirked and teased from the side. When the moment comes for you to be poisoned, this old master won't sacrifice himself to save you. Asura's face showed a look of disgust at the words. He then fell into contemplation. If the rumors are true, then he is still a fledgling. Wouldn't this sword be impossible to cultivate? Shifu lightly patted Asura's shoulder and let him take care of himself. This is a chance given to you by heaven to strategize with little Lyra. Asura dismissed him with a wave of his hand, telling him to leave quickly. Emperor Luo also tactfully found a reason to depart. As he left, he couldn't help but look forward to hugging his grandchild soon. After Asura waited for Shifu to leave. Asura looked heavily at the sword beside him. The third sister reassured him on the side. Just give it a try and you will know. If you get poisoned, your sister will cover for you. I am immune to all poisons. Jean Lyra was panting heavily at the moment, and she ran towards Asura's residence. Just at this moment, a flying sword suddenly sliced across Jean Lyra's shoulder. Lyra lost her balance and fell to the ground. Suddenly, a voice came from behind her. My dear little junior sister, where are you going? The person quickly stepped forward and grabbed Jean Lyra's hair. He asked eagerly, Let me guess. Are you going to inform the useless person? Lyra learned that Shifu is going to betray the sect and kill Asura. She was intercepted by Elder Senior Brother on her way back. Her life hung in the balance. Elder Senior Brother is holding onto Lyra's jade hairpin. Then he pushed Lyra to the ground. He demanded to know why she had betrayed them. Lyra ignored his accusations. He suddenly bit his hand to break free from the restraints. It was obvious that you betrayed the sect and tried to kill Senior Brother Yi. Elder Senior Brother licked the wound with a twisted expression. He immediately raised his sword and slashed towards Jean Lyra. Lyra slowed down, holding her left hand that was bleeding profusely. The feelings in her heart remained unresolved for a long time, as she secretly thought, Senior Brother Yi, I can't accompany you on the road ahead. Farewell forever, she thought as tears brimmed in Lyra's eyes. She closed her eyes, waiting for the arrival of destiny. At that moment, the long sword in Elder Senior Brother's hand was suddenly knocked down by a piece of broken stone. He felt the force and couldn't help but be surprised. When did this kid appear? Why is the aura completely different from before? Lyra also closed her eyes weakly due to excessive bleeding. Vaguely she heard Asura's voice. Those who touch me shall die. 1,000 slashes. Asura picked up Lyra and pointed his sword at Elder Senior Brother. A surprising scene unfolded. Asura picked up Jean Lyra and turned around to leave directly, just as Elder Senior Brother was about to mock him. Asura's voice suddenly sounded. Try moving if you dare. Elder Senior Brother was seen swaying profusely at this moment. The blood in his body unexpectedly began to stir. Just in an instant, the blood in Elder Senior Brother's body burst out directly. The third sister stopped her movements when she saw the man dying. She had thought Stinky Bro was going to let this guy go. It seems I was overthinking. Her thoughts had just settled when the third sister suddenly turned her gaze to the side. Only to see the 4 rebellious inner leader of Peak had also arrived at this scene. Leader Dan saw that his own disciple had died. He immediately angrily shouted, Asura, you have a lot of guts. How dare you kill my disciple? Immediately, he gathered his primal chi and was about to take action. Asura then gently placed Lyra's delicate body down. Lyra quickly gestured for Asura to leave upon seeing the situation. At the same time, Leader Dan suddenly reached out with his long arms towards the two. Asura stepped forward and raised his arm to block. However, the gap in their stages was too big. He was directly sent flying from the impact, just as Lyra exclaimed in surprise. Her slender neck was suddenly grabbed by Shifu. Leader Song's voice came coldly. "Lyra, originally you were supposed to be my successor. But you actually chose to follow Asura to your doom. Today, I will send you both to your deaths. You will be a pair of ill-fated mandarin ducks." Just then, the third sister's voice suddenly rang out. "You guys dared to touch my little brother." As the voice fell, a 9-tier phoenix suddenly plummeted from the sky. The powerful aura of the phoenix directly sent Leader Dan flying. The four people turned their gaze at the same time. They had actually forgotten that she was still here. Only the third sister exuded an aura. She directly told the four people to get lost. Leader Song left Lyra behind to confront Seraphina. "Don't think just because you are the palace lord of the Feral Beast Palace, we will be afraid of you. This is the Tai sect." Immediately, the four of them charged towards the third sister at the same time. But they were like moths to a flame in front of the third sister's spiritual pet. Just as the four of them were knocked off their feet, the third sister instantly appeared behind a leader of Peak. She kicked someone to the ground with one foot. She then turned her gaze to the other three people. The Phoenix's fire of rebirth. Suddenly, she swept towards the three people. The terrifying explosion spread across the area. Just as Lyra thought, they had turned to ashes. Suddenly, Asura's voice rang out. "They are not dead yet." The male leader of Peak looked very strange. He actually emitted an evil, purple aura, blocking this fatal blow. For a leader of Peak from the Tai sect joined the evil cult. The fate of the third sister and Shifu is all in the hands of Asura. In order to break the deadlock, Asura must refine the sacred weapon and form a Taoist couple with Lyra Jr.'s sister. The four leaders of Peak are facing attacks from the third sister. A male leader of Peak emanates an evil aura. He blocked the fatal attack. The third sister looks a bit surprised. At that moment, Master Asura's voice suddenly rang out. "Eating here and there." As the Peak leader of the Tai sect, you actually secretly learned the forbidden blood art of the Six-Path sect. Today I will clean the house for the sect leader. Seeing Emperor and Luo coming, the four of them were not flustered at all. It's just right to solve it together. After Emperor and Luo landed, he said, "Asura, Seraphina Palace Lord, be careful. Their evil art uses human essence blood as a sacrifice, allowing them to erupt with power several times beyond their own. Not easy to deal with." The third sister responded with an acknowledgement. Just as Asura signaled for Lyra to step back and prepared to help the two in facing the enemy. Shifu actually directly used the gourd to bring the two into the space inside the gourd. He also reminded Asura that the current you still cannot fill the gap between them. Hurry up and go do the right thing. After Emperor and Luo picked up the gourd, he heard the mocking voice of Leader of Peak. "When death is at hand, do you still think a broken gourd can protect your disciple?" Emperor and Luo smiled and said, "Try it, and you'll find out." Then he began to communicate with Asura's third sister. "Seraphina Palace Lord, the two of us joining forces can only resist for a few rounds at most. Today's victory or defeat depends on whether that brat Asura can quickly refine the sacred weapon." The third sister understands perfectly. This sacred weapon is specifically designed to counteract the evil art. Now, the fate of all four individuals is completely in Asura's hands. The two of them released their own breath and joined forces to fight the enemy. After Asura and Lyra entered the gourd, they were surprised to find that there was actually a space here. Just then, Lyra suddenly asked. Emperor and Shifu said, "Let's focus on the task at hand." "What does that mean?" Asura shuddered at the words. He instantly understood the meaning of Shifu. Seeing Asura like this, Lyra was still worried and asked from behind. Asura turned around. his face blushing as he refined the sacred weapon. Simply put, they need to establish a marital relationship. Lyra's face also flushed at the words. Seeing Lyra's shy appearance, Asura quickly spoke up to ease the atmosphere. This may just be Master Shifu talking nonsense. If you're not willing, then forget it. There must be other ways to refine it. Unexpectedly, Lyra suddenly spoke up. No. In fact, I have liked senior brother for a long time. If I can help, I am definitely willing. Asura repeated, confirming like a straight guy. Lyra, on the other hand, went straight to the point. Right now, Shifu and the others are still in danger outside. Let's quickly get things done. Asura kept saying, good 3 times. He immediately took out the sacred weapon. He began to use all his strength to force out the severe poison inside the sacred weapon. With the infusion of his primal chi, the sacred weapon started emitting a strange purple gas. Asura forcibly suppresses the desires in his heart as primal chi is continuously implanted. At this moment, he suddenly hears a strange sound behind him. Asura turns around to look. He saw that the purple gas had already entered Lyra's body. At this moment, Lyra's whole body turned red and swollen. She suddenly fell to the ground. Asura quickly went forward to support her. He didn't expect the poison to take effect so quickly. Lyra held Asura's neck with both hands. She tilted her face slowly towards Asura's face. She confided about her secret crush of 10 years. The two of them shared a passionate kiss, and then moved on to the main topic. Lyra took off her coat directly. She took the initiative to give herself to Asura, only to see Asura turn over and pressed her down. The two then continued with the joyful activity, releasing the love poison inside their bodies. Asura is refining the magic sword. He established a husband-wife relationship with little junior sister inside the gourd space. I won't reveal more details here, feel free to interpret it yourselves. Outside the gourd space, Asura's third sister and Emperor Luo are buying time for Asura, joining forces to resist the attacks from the 4 leaders of Peak. However, when faced with the forbidden blood art, Emperor Luo was instantly knocked back by the powerful attack. Seeing this, the third sister directly summoned a giant ape to confront the 4 leaders of Peak, smashing them with a fierce fist wind from the giant ape, causing the 4 leaders of Peak to scatter in the air. Leader Dan seized the opportunity using the evil art. He directly struck the giant ape on the back. The giant ape fell to the ground hard. The third sister's figure also fell to the ground. The third sister's delicate body also showed obvious injuries. As the palace lord of Feral Beast Palace, he couldn't help but sigh. Truly a terrifying evil art. If it continues like this, they really won't be able to hold on. The idea fell through. The third sister's gaze instantly turned to the side and exclaimed, I saw Leader Dan gathering evil art and about to blast it towards old Luo. In a critical moment, the third sister used her body to forcefully block a powerful palm strike. The explosion spread with eerie flames, engulfing the area. Old Luo anxiously inquired about Asura's third sister's condition. She's fine, won't die. At this moment, a male leader of Peak stepped forward. He pointed at the gourd on the ground, revealing a sinister smile. The little rabbit cub is hiding in there, right? The third sister and old Luo both exclaimed in surprise. They quickly got up to stop it. Just as the foot was about to come down, the gourd unexpectedly ruptured from the inside. Countless sword shadows instantly cut the body of the male leader of Peak into countless pieces of flesh. He died on the spot. Seeing this scene, the other 3 leaders of Peak were scared and broke out in a cold sweat. Just as the third sister and old Luo were surprised, a familiar voice suddenly sounded, Master. Big sister, I'm back. 2 figures also entered everyone's sight. Asura was seen supporting the disheveled Lyra on the scene. Asura put down Lyra's delicate body from his arms, letting Lyra take care of his big sister. Unexpectedly, after taking just 2 steps, Lyra slipped and fell backward. Asura stepped forward and caught her, softly asking Lyra, "Are you okay?" Lyra blushed slightly and replied, "My legs feel a bit weak." Seeing this scene, the third sister and old Luo understood each other without saying a word. At the same time, they both gave Asura a thumbs-up gesture. Asura also recalled all the things that had happened inside the gourd space. Then he spoke with a tone of taking advantage while acting innocent. He explained, "Elders, please don't misunderstand. Junior sister just helped me out a bit." Just at this moment, 3 other leaders of Peak simultaneously unleashed their evil art and attacked Asura. Asura angrily shouted, "Bring it on!" Then, he wielded his sacred weapon. A fierce sword shadow suddenly charged towards the 3 Peak leaders, one female Peak leader showing a contemptuous look. She consolidated her blood shield to resist. Unexpectedly, as soon as the two came into contact, the female Peak leader was directly cut in half at the waist. She unwillingly spat out a mouthful of blood upon seeing this Peak leader being killed instantly with one move. The other 2 leaders of Peak also stopped their movements. Old Luo behind Asura started showing off to Asura's third sister. This sword is paired with Grandmaster, an extraordinary sacred weapon called No Edge. Asura refines the sacred weapon to annihilate the evil cult. Just as the third sister and old Luo are about to be no match for the 4 Peak evil art leaders. Asura breaks through space while holding Lyra in tattered clothes. He kills 2 leaders of Peak with 2 swords in seconds. Just as the remaining 2 leaders of Peak were shocked and stunned by his agility. Asura Sherfu began praising the sacred weapon behind him, but leader Dan remained skeptical. Asura immediately stood with his sword in front of him. He suddenly thrust out a powerful sword intent, instantly breaking through the energy ball and piercing through Leader Dan's chest. Leader Dan uttered his final words before dying. "Hanging on." He fell to the ground with a loud crash. Only one person, Song Rain, stood there dumbfounded. Asura raised his sword and walked slowly towards him. "Do you have any more tricks up your sleeve? Hurry and use them." But the crowd was unaware. Just now, after using 2 moves, Asura had already expended all his inner strength. Song Rain was so furious that she gritted her teeth. She then slapped the ground with her palm. Then she dashed frantically towards the sky. Asura looked at Song Rain fleeing into the sky with a hint of confusion. Just then, Lyra's voice suddenly sounded from behind. "Senior brother, after all, she is my apprentice. Spare her life, please." Asura smiled. "I never intended to kill her in the first place." Then, Asura wielded countless sword shadows towards Song Rain in the sky. Though he couldn't kill her, he could still play a trick on her. Before Song Rain could react in surprise, her close-fitting clothes were directly cut into pieces. Old Luo couldn't help but praise when he saw it. "Gotta say, this little Song's figure is really well maintained." Song Rain gritted his teeth and clenched his red lips. He angrily shouted, "You actually humiliated me in public, Asura, remember this. We're not finished." Asura's voice also rang out. "Such big son!" Lyra suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Asura's earlobe, angrily reprimanding him. The third sister also stepped forward at this moment, and inquired why not cut the grass and remove the roots. Letting her go will lead to endless trouble. Asura inserted the sacred weapon into the ground and explained, "Sis, don't just stand there and criticize. Those moves just now almost destroyed my dantian. I'm already exerting all my strength just to remain standing." Old Luo was also somewhat worried that Asura might face retaliation. The third sister, upon hearing this, placed her hand on her chest and began to search. "It looks like it's time for me to give this to you." Asura looked flustered. It was puzzling to older sister what she wanted to pull out from that place. I saw older sister take out a silver egg and said, "Don't forget, your sister is the palace lord of Pharaoh Beast Palace. You should learn more about top-tier bound spirit beasts." At the same time, inside the Taisec's main hall, Song Rain is preemptively accusing the villain. Sect leader heard something that was hard to believe. Asura forcefully killed 3 evil cult leaders of Peak. But he let Song Rain escape. The third sister is worried that Asura will be retaliated against by the evil cult. She gave Asura a top-tier bound spirit beast egg as a gift. Nighttime has arrived. Asura is discussing with Silver Egg and Lyra. This egg can not only absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, it can also absorb Asura's vital chi. Lyra is also very curious. Why won't your sister tell you? What kind of spirit beast is this? Just at this moment, the third sister's voice suddenly sounded. The surprise is to be saved for last. The two turn around to find the third sister had just finished bathing. Even the water droplets on her delicate body had not been wiped off yet. Asura and the third sister immediately got into an argument, even though they have the same father but different mothers. But you should also pay attention. Just then, several shadow guards had arrived outside the residence. Asura is keenly aware. Just as Lyra was still worrying, the third sister complained about Lyra's clothes being too small, and muttered behind her back. Outside the door, a shadow guard leader stepped forward to inform old Luo leader Luo to have Asura come out and go with us for a trip. Seeing this kind of lineup, old Luo couldn't help but quietly say, I didn't expect that Song Rain's backing within the sect would be strong enough to mobilize Tai Shadow Guard. Asura began to analyze. There are only 2 possibilities now. Either Song Rain has earned the sect leader's trust through years of hard work, or there are Song Rain's own people inserted into the Shadow Guard. Old Luo responded domineeringly. Speak up. Who gave you the orders? Otherwise, if you want to take Asura away, you don't have the ability yet. Just then, a voice suddenly sounded. Old Luo, you have misunderstood. 2 elderly figures descended from the sky. The chubby old man spoke up to explain. This is indeed an order from the sect leader. She wants to invite Asura to come over and clarify things in person. Another old man directly roared angrily. You really plan to rebel by killing 3 leaders of the Peak? Old Luo was just about to speak. Asura interrupted his dirty words. I am willing to go face to face. Immediately, his figure slowly walked out of the room. He arrived outside the sect leader's hall. Asura bowed and said, Practicing disciple Asura pays respects to the sect leader. Seeing that the sect leader was currently taking a shower, upon hearing Asura refer to himself as a practicing disciple, he couldn't help but jest. I remember you were the #1 newcomer 10 years ago. How come you are still a practicing disciple now? Asura dared not look directly at the sect leader in such a state. He also did not expect that the sect leader would request a meeting while taking a shower. The sect leader seemed to understand Asura's implications. She then tilted her head to explain. If it were under normal circumstances, I definitely wouldn't meet you like this. I take an herbal bath at this hour every day. Outside the hall at the same time, the fat old man came to Song Rain. The ghostly Asura went in. At this time, the sect leader was at his weakest. The plan of everyone quietly emerged. Today's starry sky will also be a bloody one. Asura killed 3 leader of Peak in the last episode. The matter of Song Rain escaping was simply reported to the sect leader, but the sect leader is not very convinced. All 4 leader of Peak have secretly practiced evil art. Song Rain didn't say so. She accused you of colluding with the feral beast palace lord to seek revenge and killed 3 leader of Peak. What evidence do you have for saying she colluded with the evil cult? Asura started speaking in riddles. Does she have any evidence to say that I killed the 3 leaders of Peak? If not, I will not admit it. Sect leader made a sarcastic comment upon hearing this. I didn't expect that not only have your skills improved, but your cheek has also thickened so much. 2 maids covering their mouths laughed softly. Just at that moment, the window behind Asura was suddenly pierced by several arrow feathers. Sect leader invited Asura for a discussion on the matter of killing the 3 leaders of Peak. Unexpectedly, she was plotted against by Song Rain. At the critical moment, her life hung by a thread. Asura made a move to save the sect leader. Just as Asura was still debating with the sect leader, the window behind suddenly pierced by several arrow feathers. An arrow even grazed past sect leader's delicate body. Sect leader reacted swiftly, instantly using vital chi to make the arrow feathers tremble. After a woman serving in the bedchamber accidentally gets shot in the arm, her skin unexpectedly begins to ulcerate. Asura saw the situation. He plunged directly into the sect leader's bathtub, dodged the flying arrows. After diving underwater, he unexpectedly discovered that beside him was the sect leader's fair skin. Asura inspected the sect leader's body thoroughly. He immediately spurted out a trace of nosebleed. Sect leader also leaped up at this moment. Confronted with several arrows, she gathered vital chi in her palm. Then, the vital chi directly shook off all the flying arrows. Then she used water drops as hidden weapons. The water drops flew out swiftly, killing all the assassins outside the hall. Asura is floating in the bathtub at the moment. He couldn't help but sigh as he stared at the sect leader in the air. Is she over 100 years old? It's really not easy. One must work hard to cultivate at the same time. She also needs to keep her figure at the same time. The sect leader seems to have noticed Asura's burning gaze. She turned her head directly and angrily scolded. "You are really a bold and daring guy. I will gouge out your eyeballs and crush them." Just at that moment, two stronger hidden weapons suddenly shot towards the sect leader. After dodging low to avoid them, the sect leader's figure also landed. Seeing the arrival of two familiar faces, the sect leader's face turned dark. No wonder the assassins were able to sneak into the main hall without a sound. So it was you two causing all this mischief. Why did you betray me? Asura watched quietly as this scene unfolded. I didn't expect that even the two chief protectors in front of the sect leader would turn traitor. The two elderly men had equally grim expressions. They directly threatened to kill the sect leader. The sect leader showed a hint of disdain. Just based on, she staggered back with a wilted figure. The fat old man smiled as he looked at the evil flame in his hand. Do you really think we are clueless? Haven't you noticed something different about tonight's herbal bath? The sect leader scolded the two. Aren't you worried about the retaliation from the Tai sect disciples? The two reassured the sect leader. After we kill you, will you still be worried about not having a scapegoat? Tomorrow, the news of Asura conspiring with the feral beast palace lord to assassinate the sect leader will spread throughout the world. The originally watching drama Asura inexplicably became a scapegoat. Asura uses the 9 revolutions tyrant eyes. He also discovered that there is a secret passage under the sect leader's feet. Now it seems that he absolutely cannot let the sect leader die. The old man no longer spoke much. He directly gathered palm wind and struck at the sect leader, who managed to block the killing move. However, he was still poisoned badly. The fat old man's figure leaped to the front of the sect leader. He kicked her flying with one kick. The sect leader's delicate body violently crashed into the ground. Before the sect leader could even get up, the fat old man raised the long sword above his head, revealing a sinister smile. If it weren't for the urgency of the situation, he would really like to savor your body. Before the sound could even fade, Asura's body leaped into the air. He carried the sacred weapon and fiercely slashed towards the fat old man's head. The old man stepped back, evading this fierce sword strike. The two of them didn't expect that Asura would dare to come and rescue someone. Asura smiled as he revealed his sacred weapon. I don't want to be a scapegoat. I have to resist, right? But the two old men showed a trace of disdain. Even if you have managed to kill 3 leaders a peak, you are only at the chi condensation 3rd layer cultivation level. Facing us at the celestial origin stage, do you think you stand a chance? Asura suddenly hugged the sect leader and smiled. I never aimed to defeat you all. As long as I can escape, that will be enough. He then swung the sacred weapon and smashed it fiercely on the ground beneath his feet. Powerful sword intent, directly shattering the entire Tai hall. The fat and thin old men looked at the ruins under their feet, not knowing what to do. Song Rain and the man in black robes also arrived at the scene at this moment. After everyone gathered, they planned to seal off the scene and then search slowly. Song Rain is worried about Emperor Luo. Can only plead with this black-robed senior brother to deal with them as soon as possible. The leader of Peak has arrived. They were then dealt with by the skinny and fat old men. He was sent away with just a few words by Song Rain. Asura and sect leader are also present at this moment. Appeared in the secret passage of Tai sect. Asura slashed open Tai Hall and rescued the sect leader. Sect leader originally intended to use the spiritual chi left by the previous generations of sect leaders to recover from his injuries. Unexpectedly, all of this spiritual chi was absorbed by the egg given by Asura's third sister. The spirit beast inside the egg has also hatched. Asura couldn't help but sigh after putting down the sect leader. Fortunately, there is a secret passage hidden under Tai Peak, otherwise, there would have been no escape today. The sect leader then asked, "This is the secret of the Tai sect. How did you come to know about it?" Asura couldn't say. The 9 revolutions tyrant body he cultivated naturally comes with the tyrant eyes. He could only come up with an excuse to get through it. My eyes can not only see beautiful women clearly, but also see the flow of spiritual chi. When this was said, sect leader immediately felt that this kid was extraordinary. He then began to explain about the secret chamber. In the room further down, there is stored the lifelong effort of every sect leader, so the spiritual chi is abundant there. Immediately, the sect leader asked Asura to help and support him to the secret chamber for detoxification and healing. The two of them had just taken 2 steps when the ground above them started to shake. The two of them also understood that their pursuers behind had already discovered the secret passage. Before sect leader could react, Asura swiftly picked her delicate body up. He dashed towards the front suddenly. After a quarter of an hour, the duo arrived at the secret chamber. They pushed open the door, and saw several crystal balls emitting spiritual chi in the room. Asura couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. The richness of the spiritual chi was visibly apparent. Even if 100 experts at the celestial origin stage were here to cultivate, the spiritual chi of this place would be more than enough to help them break through to the Eternal King stage. The sect leader stepped forward slowly, reminding Asura to absorb as much spiritual chi as possible. Consider it a reward for you. However, Asura refused the sect leader's kind offer. His 9 revolutions tyrant body absorbed spiritual chi too aggressively. I'm worried it might scare her. The sect leader no longer beat around the bush. He sat down cross-legged and began to absorb spiritual chi to heal his injuries. Just as Asura was marveling at the secret room's architecture, spiritual chi began to flow continuously into Asura's body. The sect leader angrily rebuked, "What have you done? Why did you absorb all the spiritual chi?" Asura was surprised at the words. He didn't do anything. Just when sect leader was about to teach him a lesson, Asura hurriedly took out the egg given by the third egg. The two stared as the primal chi kept gathering into the egg, astonished. After absorbing for a quarter of an hour, the eggshell began to crack. It seemed like it would break open soon. At the foot of Tai Peak at the same time, Asura's group of relatives and friends are rushing to Tai Peak. Lyra is behind, asking worriedly, how could Tai Peak suddenly collapse? Will senior brother be okay? When Asura's third sister heard this, her face darkened. She immediately wanted to summon the soul-devouring demon bee to destroy the entire Tai sect. Emperor Luo was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat on the side. He quickly spoke up, asking Asura's third sister to calm down. Just then, the ground beneath their feet suddenly began to shake. Just as the 3 of them were surprised, an energy beam broke through the clouds from Asura's location. Song Rain and the others were equally shocked by this energy. The third sister seems to have figured it out. Is that beam of golden light a joke from the sacred beast egg she gave? How did this brat hatch in just one day? Empyrean Luo seems to still not understand Yajura's third sister's meaning. The golden light at Yajura's location slowly dissipated. The sect leader tried hard to suppress his laughter on the side. Yajura looked somewhat surprised at the scenery in front of him. Is this my spirit beast? It looks really strange, doesn't it? Don't be fooled by its cute appearance now. It's very powerful. And its bloodline is that of the three ancient sacred beasts, the celestial devouring beast. This cute creature is actually a chaos sacred beast. Yajura looked at the sacred beast that had just hatched from the egg with a look of disgust on his face. It looks too weird, doesn't it? The celestial devouring beast seemed to understand what he meant. It looked at Yajura with a cute but fierce expression. The sect leader explained on the side. With a lion head and dragon body, dual wings on its back, and standing on a cloud, this is actually the celestial devouring beast, one of the chaos sacred beasts. Yajura pursed his lips and quietly asked a question. Is this stupid look really from an ancient sacred beast? As soon as this statement was made, the celestial devouring beast was immediately agitated. It directly opened its cute but fierce big mouth and pounced towards Yajura. Unexpectedly, when its body had just flown halfway, it was grabbed by Yajura. Yajura looked at the celestial devouring beast in his hand and began to scold it. You have a small head but a big temper. Do you still want to bite people after I scold you a bit? Celestial devouring beast is now holding back its power with pursed lips. Then, it suddenly spewed a blaze of fire onto Yajura's head, watching as the flames completely engulfed Yajura. It then belched in satisfaction. The sect leader reacted quickly, directly releasing a layer of water shield outside the body. Yajura, however, was not so lucky, as being so close resulted in his body being burned to charcoal directly. Yajura's face darkened. He then took out the sacred weapon and held it against the neck of the celestial devouring beast. I raised you with great effort. How dare you breathe fire at me? The celestial devouring beast was instantly frightened, breaking out in a cold sweat. Just then, the voice of the sect leader sounded from behind them. Taming a spirit beast cannot be achieved by brute force. The more advanced the spirit beast, the more skill is needed. You should try to appease it first. Seek help from your sister when we get out. Yajura lifted the celestial devouring beast and began to ponder the sect leader's advice to appease it. Just then, the celestial devouring beast's stomach rumbled like thunder. Yajura smiled upon seeing this. After a few breaths, the sect leader, who was healing, suddenly woke up from a disturbance caused by a scent. As she looked around, she actually discovered that this little brat was barbecuing in the sacred grounds of the Tai sect. Yajura picked up the barbecue chicken that was cooked. The celestial devouring beast was excitedly scraping its claws at the side. Yajura brought the roast chicken in front of the celestial devouring beast. He shook it twice and asked, Do you want to eat? As long as you behave and become my bound spirit beast, I guarantee you will eat and drink well. The celestial devouring beast nodded enthusiastically and was immediately won over by the food. The celestial devouring beast, who was wolfing down the food, smiled upon seeing Yajura. The sect leader spoke up on the side to train it. Do you think using food to buy its loyalty is reliable? However, Yajura was indifferent. Your two trusted aides are both traitors. So don't try to lecture me. As soon as these words were spoken, the sect leader instantly stood up. Just as she was about to speak in anger, the poison inside her body flared up once again. Yajura quickly stepped forward to help support her. Don't move around randomly when the internal injury is so severe. The sect leader unexpectedly said that the golden dam was damaged. Even with spiritual chi, the poison cannot be forced out. Before Yajura could react in surprise, the sect leader's voice continued to ring out. They have arrived. You must flee quickly. As the words fell, the hidden passage in the secret chamber was also discovered by 3 traitors. The 3 individuals also sensed the surge of spiritual chi. They hurriedly rushed forward. Yi Asura uses the 9 Revolutions Tyrant Eyes to check sect leader's injuries. He found that the sect leader's meridians were completely severed. It is impossible for her to use internal energy to heal herself. Just then, 3 sets of footsteps suddenly came from outside the secret room. Yi Asura revealed his 9 Revolutions Tyrant body. He absorbed all spiritual chi to help the sect leader repair his golden Dan. Then he tempted his spiritual pet, the celestial devouring beast, with food to resist the evil cult. Yi Asura's 9 Revolutions Tyrant Eyes discovered the sect leader's injuries. The sound of footsteps from 3 members of the evil cult slowly approached the secret room. The sect leader gathered the last bit of vital chi. She lowered the door to the dark room. Song Rain led the 2 people to forcefully ram the stone door from the outside. Asura listened to the vibrations caused by the attack. Yi Asura couldn't help but sigh. What a hot-tempered woman. The sect leader pointed to a secret passage and urged Yi Asura to leave quickly. Yi Asura unexpectedly appeared behind the sect leader. His voice followed. What's the joke? As a disciple of the Tai sect, abandoning the sect leader and fleeing for his own life at a critical moment goes against my life principles. He faced the sect leader's puzzled inquiry. Yi Asura unleashed the 9 Revolutions Tyrant body as the only way to explain. My tyrant eyes can see the damage to your meridians. I can guide vital chi to bypass the break and repair your golden Dan. Without waiting for the sect leader to hesitate, Yi Asura gathered vital chi in his palm and fiercely slapped the sect leader's delicate body. As vital chi continued to be infused, Yi Asura quickly realized that his own vital chi was insufficient to repair the sect leader's golden Dan. He needs to absorb all the spiritual chi here into his body and refine it. He then released the 9 Revolutions Tyrant body. The massive spiritual chi around all poured into Yi Asura's body. At the foot of Tai Peak at the same time, Yi Asura's family and friends are running towards sect leader Peak. At this moment, a ghostly figure suddenly appeared behind them. Old Luo reacted quickly. He quickly turned around and confronted it head-on. After the 2 made contact, a terrifying explosion swept through the area. Old Luo's figure also leaped out from the smoke. Lyra exclaimed anxiously on the side, only to see old Luo now holding onto his abdominal wound, with a hint of confusion. The evil cult's assassination group. How did you end up here? Are you planning to go to war with the Tai sect? Yi Asura's 3rd sister interrupted his angry rebuke. Since she's already standing here, why ask more questions? Just fight. Seeing the imposing presence of Yi Asura's 3rd sister, the people from the evil cult made up their minds. They originally had no intention of having conflicts with the feral beast palace. But since you have a connection with Yi Asura, it's better to cut off future troubles. Upon hearing the name Yi Asura, Lyra was surprised and quickly asked where Yi Asura was, and what had happened to him. Just then, numerous members of the black-robed assassination group suddenly appeared. At the same time in the sealed room, Song Rain finally shattered the stone door of the sealed room. Just entered the sealed room, she found Yi Asura helping the sect leader recover from his injuries. The 3 of them were puzzled. They even thought that Yi Asura had gone crazy. Song Rain directly condensed a purple energy ball and threw it at the 2 of them. As the energy ball continued to approach sect leader, 2 old men directly saluted. Praise Song Rain as sect leader Song. At a critical moment, Yi Asura's spiritual pet celestial devouring beast stepped forward and stood in front of the energy ball. Why is this little guy so obedient? It's because Yi Asura just asked this little guy if he wanted to eat charcoal grilled fat lamb. Fresh, tender, and juicy young lamb. Placed on charcoal fire to roast until fragrant. Then brushed with Yi family's secret barbecue sauce. And so, the celestial devouring beast became Yi Asura's little fanboy. Even without establishing a contract relationship, it was still conquered by Yi Asura's barbecue skills. As the energy ball approached relentlessly, the celestial devouring beast actually opened its mouth directly. It swallowed the terrifying energy ball in one gulp. Seeing this scene, two elderly traders were also surprised. What is this thing? Asura praised from behind. Well done! After going out, I will definitely treat you to grilled lamb. The little celestial devouring beast heard the excitement and let out a cry. Who would have expected that the celestial devouring beast was actually very satisfied with this powerful energy ball? It even started licking its lips in satisfaction. This cute creature is actually the chaos sacred beast celestial devouring beast. Even though it has not established the divine beast binding with Asura, but it is still tempted by Asura's 10 roasted baby lamb. It rushed forward and swallowed the energy balls from Asura and the other person in one gulp. Afterwards, it surprisingly started belching full. Song Rain sees the situation and immediately grabs the long sword, intending to chop it down together. Unexpectedly, the celestial devouring beast suddenly spews out a burst of flames. Before Song Rain could react in surprise, the fierce flames directly sent the three flying. At this moment, Song Rain's clothes were once again burned to ashes. The celestial devouring beast, however, enjoyed the fullness of its meal. At this moment, Asura began to emit a rich golden light from his body. He helped the sect leader repair the golden Dan, and the process is coming to an end. The old man lying on the ground quickly realized that something was wrong. He opened his mouth and exclaimed in surprise. Song Rain didn't care about the clothes on her body. She raised her sword and stabbed directly towards the celestial devouring beast. At this moment, Asura leaped backwards. He directly blocked Song Rain's powerful sword energy with his physical body, Asura's clothes on the outside. Surprisingly, it shattered together with Song Rain's precious sword. Song Rain couldn't hide his surprise. Asura has now activated the third layer of the 9 Revolutions golden bone in 9 Revolutions tyrant body. Asura looked to the side at the 3 people charging towards him. He was just about to demonstrate his own strength. The sect leader suddenly opened his eyes wide at this moment. She instantly leaped over Asura and headed straight for the 2 traitorous old men. The sect leader gripped the necks of the 2 traitors with both hands, pressing them against the wall. Seeing this scene, Song Rain could not believe it. This is impossible. How was the poison in you cured? After sect leader killed 2 elderly men. Sect leader turned his head and revealed a fierce look. Song Rain, you really disappoint me. Sect leader's voice rang out. Song Rain quickly turned and fled. She thought that her speed was unmatched by anyone in Tai's sect. Little did she know that her plan had just failed. Above her head came the voice of the sect leader asking, "Where do you think you're going?" Only to see the sect leader holding Asura with celestial devouring beast in his arms appeared in front of her. This wind falls down. Song Rain falls from the sky to the ground. The sect leader gathers vital chi in front of him. Relentless taunts, relying on your meager abilities. You still want to replace me? You are the true waste. Unexpectedly, Song Rain actually pulled out a dagger and suddenly stabbed it into his own chest. As the dagger pierced through his body, Song Rain spat out a mouthful of blood. After she pulled out the dagger, fresh blood continuously gushed out from her waist. Song Rain activated her blood to perform the evil art and attempted to flee. The sect leader's face turned dark upon seeing the situation. She immediately shot out the vital chi in her hand with a powerful force, directly causing the surrounding ground to be lifted up with flying debris. Before the energy could approach Song Rain, it was immediately devoured by his blood energy. Her figure then disappeared in this area. The sect leader stared at the large hole above his head. Her voice was grim as she said, "Do you think you can escape?" Outside the mountain peaks at the same time, only 3 friends of Asura could be seen, engaged in a fierce battle with the evil cult assassination group. Although Asura's third sister self-proclaims her cultivation level, she is not someone that this group of trash can shake. Lyra effortlessly slays this group of assassins. At this moment, the current leader of the evil cult suddenly swings his sword at Lyra. Lyra quickly dodges backward. The leader showed a sinister smile. As expected, the disciple trained by junior sister. Come back with me to the evil cult. Lyra angrily accused Song Rain of colluding with outsiders to kill her fellow sect members. I am no longer her disciple. Yi Azura's third sister stood in front of Lyra. She taunted. Stop boasting. Today, you will also die here for me. At this moment, all the blood on the ground unexpectedly began to fly towards the sky. Before the three could even be surprised, the leader's voice rang out. In order to create this technique, the Six Paths sect sacrificed countless disciples. You should feel the supreme glory. The fierce blood chi is now pressing towards the sky at this moment. Evil cult uses human blood to forcefully trigger the heavenly tribulation. Tai sect is in crisis. Yi Azura uses the 9 revolutions tyrant eyes to find the formation core. Yi Azura's third sister sensed something was wrong. Her palm suddenly grabbed towards the spellcaster. Upon her palm making contact, the figure instantly disappeared. The third sister scolded. I knew you were suspicious from the beginning. Indeed, it was puppet art. Only to see Song Rain already merging with the mountain peak. Yi Azura and sect leader had just flown out, only to be stunned by the scene before their eyes. Lyra's voice suddenly sounded under the feet of the two. Old Luo recounted the matter of the heavenly tribulation in detail. Then he gestured for sect leader to lead the disciples of each peak to evacuate. Sect leader angrily retorted with a sentence. Nonsense! How could my Tai sect be scared away by a forbidden arts? Sect leader looked up at the heavenly tribulation continuously radiating pressure above his head. She angrily shouted, displaying. Old Luo asked on the side, can Yi Azura's third sister sect leader withstand the heavenly tribulation? The third sister thinks not. The sect leader of Tai sect can overcome the heavens. Only to see the sect leader condensing his own vital chi to resist the pressure released by the heavenly tribulation. The two have just made contact. Countless blue veins appeared on the sect leader's face. Yi Azura's body language revealed the message to the three people. The sect leader can't hold on for much longer. Lyra rushed towards the heavenly tribulation upon hearing this. She wanted to help the sect leader resist the crisis together. Old Luo also followed closely behind. Just as Yi Azura was about to step forward, the third sister stopped him. Fool, your approach is useless. Hurry up and use the 9 revolutions tyrant eyes to locate where the formation core is. Destroying the formation core will help to unravel the heavenly tribulation. Yi Azura responded with a nod then. He then used the 9 revolutions tyrant eyes technique to look towards the sky. The third sister reminded him beside. Typically, a formation has 1 to 3 formation cores. Yi Azura stared at the sky. He unexpectedly found a total of 6 formation cores. The third sister is also unheard of. But as long as one of them is destroyed, it's enough. Yi Azura leads the third sister to break the situation. Later, he called on the 3 people in the air to hold on. The sect leader also believes in this boy who continues to create miracles. At this moment, disciples from various peaks of the Tai sect came to support. Seeing this scene, the leader of the evil cult directly led Song Rain to leave. But Song Rain was worried. They were looking for a way to break the formation. The leader assured him. The person in charge of controlling this formation is the most powerful help that I spent a lot of effort persuading to come out of the sect. At the same time, in the formation core, a venerable is controlling the formation core. Just at this moment, Yi Azura condensed fist wind and suddenly struck the back of the venerable. The old man's body emitted vital chi to block Yi Azura's punch. But he was also surprised. He didn't expect that it was the Tai sect that first discovered him. It turned out to be a young kid. The younger generation indeed deserves respect. It's just a pity. You were a big green if you wanted to ambush me. Yi Azura smiled. Of course, I didn't intend to succeed. I just wanted to distract your attention. The old man's eyes narrowed at the words. Just then, a wriggling giant worm suddenly surged out from underfoot and swallowed it in one gulp. Seeing the giant worm swallow the old man, Asura couldn't help but feel excited. The third sister kindly reminded from behind. It just swallowed him. Doesn't necessarily mean it can kill him. But Asura didn't care as long as the heavenly tribulation was disrupted. The third sister looked up at the sky. The array was losing the support of a formation core, and the pressure stopped. Witnessing this scene, Lyra couldn't help but exclaim, "Senior brother is amazing!" Asura broke the heavenly tribulation. But he is in danger. The third sister directly wants to lift her own seal upon seeing the situation. Kill the old man. At the last moment, Asura's sixth sister arrived in time. Asura watched as the old man was devoured by the giant bug, still without any reaction. Unable to help it, he asked, "You're not dead, are you?" The third sister, however, let him give up hope. Those who can summon such a heavenly tribulation will not be easily killed. Just as the voice fell, the giant bug was instantly chopped into pieces from the inside. The old man's voice also rang out. Netherworld giant worm. Unexpectedly, Tai Sect was able to get help from Feral Beast's palace. It seems that this surprise attack on Tai Sect is the right move. Otherwise, given time, my six-path sect would be in danger. The third sister looked at the old man in golden armor, and couldn't help but sigh at the extravagance of the six-path sect. All to completely destroy the financial resources of the Tai Sect. However, the old man kindly reminded, "We have no intention of making enemies with the Feral Beast Palace. It's better for this fellow Taoist not to meddle in this matter." Unexpectedly, the third sister directly agreed, saying, "Fine, I won't meddle. You guys go ahead and fight." Upon hearing this, Asura couldn't help but be surprised. "My sister, are you really willing to betray your teammate like this?" Unexpectedly, the third sister struck a charming pose and flirted with Asura. "Let me see if your cultivation level has improved, big sister." Just at that moment, the old man interrupted the conversation between the two with a kick from afar. Asura ducked low to avoid it. He looked at the old man's strength of chopping down a mountain peak with 1 foot. Couldn't help but exclaim, "What kind of monster is this?" Just at that moment, the third sister's voice suddenly sounded, "Don't get distracted." Asura didn't have time to react. He was immediately pinned to the ground with a kick. But at this moment, the old man was also sweating profusely. This kick was powerful enough to sever Asura's body. Why is he completely unscathed? The third sister smiled when she saw it, and indeed guessed right. It seems that this kid has made progress in cultivating another layer of his divine skills. The elder condensed vital chi to pressure Asura, who only has the chi condensation stage cultivation level, and managed to cultivate golden bone. "How did you do it?" Seeing Asura not speaking, the elder directly condensed a dagger, intending to slowly study and extract his bones. The third sister saw this, and lightly nibbled her red lips. She didn't want her precious little brother to really confess here. She wanted to take out this old guy. She was afraid she had to lift the seal she had set. At that moment, a long spear suddenly shot down from the sky. The third sister was startled. How did this girl suddenly appear? Only to see Asura's sixth sister's voice suddenly resounding from the sky. The tiny six-path sect dares to defy the ban. They trespassed into the territory of the Tai sect and engaged in a big fight. Do they want to be wiped out? Just at that moment, the sect leader of the Tai sect and a group of disciples. They are also rushing to the location where Asura is. The sect leader looked at the 6 figures in the distance. She revealed a sinister smile. Sure enough, it was these 6 old fellows. Very good, very good. Since you've come to my Tai sect to cause trouble, you might as well leave your lives here as well. At this moment, the 5 old men also descended from the sky. The leading old man gave a salute and spoke to Asura's 6th sister. "Since Long Emperor has appeared, let's temporarily cease fire. Farewell." The 6th sister responded with an acknowledgement. Just then, the voice of the sect leader rang out. "You have turned my Tai sect upside down. Do you still want to leave?" The sect leader condensed vital chi to perform the devil's suppression spell. She directly surrounded the 6 old men. The 6th sister spoke up to remind sect leader Lo not to forget the vow he made in front of the Long Emperor back then. Within the Great Chu territory, all sects are not allowed to engage in private disputes. You should weigh the importance of matters yourself. Yi Asura stood quietly on the side listening to the 6th sister's dissuasion. Old Luo also reminded sect leader Long Emperor from behind that private fights among sects are highly discouraged. It's time to stop it now. The sect leader forcefully expelled his own vital energy and coldly spat out one word. Leave! The 6 elders immediately leaped into the air. As one elder was leaving, he couldn't help but inquire to Yi Asura. Boy, the cultivation technique you practice is not from the Tai sect. Where did you learn these techniques and methods? Yi Asura extended his middle finger and spat out 4 words. Mind your own business. Long Emperor issued an imperial decree. The battle of the prodigies among the major sects will commence in 7 days. Yi Asura's 2 elder sisters are preparing to take Yi Asura out to undergo the devil's trial. As Yi Asura raised his middle finger, scaring away the 6 elders. Before leaving, he did not forget to leave a tough message. Kid, you've got guts. You'd better never encounter me again. Yi Asura's master, however, fell into contemplation. The sect leader knows now. The techniques and methods that Yi Asura cultivates are not from the Tai sect. They will definitely blame him for this. But he doesn't know. Various things happened between Yi Asura and the sect leader in the secret chamber. The sect leader also suddenly called out Emperor Luo's name at that moment. Who would have expected that the sect leader unexpectedly reinstated him to his position as the inner leader of Peak? He is now in charge of rebuilding the sect. Yi Asura started praising the 6th sister behind her back, saying that as the supreme marshal of the Legion, she truly lives up to her reputation. Even the immortal cultivation world has to give her some respect. The 6th sister then spoke up and said that they are just afraid of the Long Emperor behind me. The 3rd sister also asked on the side, How did you come back so quickly? Did you receive any intelligence? The 6th sister had set up spies at the foot of the mountain, intending to keep an eye on everyone's father, but unexpectedly ended up inadvertently helping Tai's sect. Yi Asura also scratched his head and said, Older sister, you still don't trust me? I promise you, as soon as father returns, I will report to you. The 3rd sister and the 6th sister interrupted him. They both criticized in unison. Men are unreliable. Even pigs can climb trees. Do you think we don't know that you two are of the same mind? At this moment, sect leader respectfully spoke up. Anyway, thank you, Marshal Churyu, for helping out. The 6th sister responded with a polite acknowledgement. However, sect leader is also very scheming. She questioned, If the 6 Paths sect didn't have the support of Long Emperor, would they dare to attack our sect? I don't believe it. Upon hearing this, 6th sister also realized that there may be some secret motives behind it. Just at that moment, a long steed carried the 2 of them. Appearing above the gate of Tai's sect, the Long Emperor unexpectedly decreed to open the contest of the celestial prodigies 7 days later. Watching the departing figure of the long steed, the 6th sister fell into contemplation. The Great Chu's martial trial has not been held for 10 years, fearing that it may escalate conflicts among the sections. Why did this happen so suddenly? The sect leader timidly spoke on the side. It's simple. Because the Tai sect and 6 Paths sect are at odds. Rather than the 2 sects fighting, it's better to let the disciples of each sect duel. Upon hearing this, the 6th sister leaped up directly, intending to catch up and ask for clarification. After the 6th sister left, the sect leader's gaze suddenly turned to Yi Asura. She doesn't care at all about what kind of medicine the Long Emperor is selling. She's more concerned about whether Yi Asura can go to Long City and kick the butts of those bastards from the 6 Paths sect. Once this statement is made, Yi Asura is under tremendous pressure. The time has come to midnight. Only saw Yi Asura leisurely drinking wine. Very chic. A group of interns' disciples saw Yi Asura and greeted him with bows and salutes one after another. Asura, drinking wine, fell into contemplation. These little scoundrels. In the past, they wouldn't even say hello when they saw him. Now when they see him, they dare not even let out a fart randomly. Truly outstanding fence-sitters. His thinking hasn't settled yet. The sixth sister suddenly punched Asura, smashing his head into the wine gourd. Asura stared at the lump on his head, then turned to ask the sixth sister, "Hey sis, what are you doing?" The sixth sister looked at the bump on his head, her tone softening a bit as she spoke. "What time is it now? You don't practice diligently, but still have the time to drink. For the upcoming martial arts competition among the major sects in 7 days." Asura's two elder sisters planned to take him out to the mountains and rivers for sightseeing. Just when Asura was leisurely drinking wine, the sixth sister directly gave him a blow to the head. She directly gave him a big bump on the head. Why didn't he seize the time to heed the sixth sister's criticism and cultivate himself? Asura sneered. "Isn't the sect leader still considering it? It's not too late to cultivate after the final allocation of spots is decided." The sixth sister grabbed Asura's handsome face and scolded. "Stop being so careless with your words. You don't have to wait for members of other sects to act. I'll tear you apart first to save face for your sisters." Asura apologized with a whimper. At that moment, Lyra ran to Asura's residence, panting and out of breath. She came to inform Asura that the sect leader had issued an order for Asura to participate in the Great Chew competition. She found only Emperor Luo's figure in the room as soon as she entered. In response to Lyra's inquiry, Emperor Luo told her not to worry. Marshal Churyu in Seraphina Palace Lord took him to cultivate. Since becoming husband and wife with Asura, Lyra has been a bit silly. Immediately after that, she asked Emperor Luo, "Aren't you Asura's master? Why didn't he let you go?" Emperor Luo looked helpless. This little girl really hits the nail on the head. In front of these two, how can he be qualified to teach Asura?